Okay guys, so I'm gonna replace the front discs and pads on my 2006 Mercedes Benz E350 chassis W211. So I'm gonna pop the hood and the trunk and let's get started. So we're gonna let the car go to sleep first, let everything shut down, and then we're gonna come to the back and disconnect the battery. Okay guys, so everything's shut down, all the electrical systems are asleep, so we're gonna go to the back and disconnect the battery. So now we're just gonna take off these two screws on the top. And then to pull the cover off to get to the battery, just pull it forward and then up. These should come right off. And here's the styrofoam cover for the battery. And I'm going to disconnect the negative terminal. Now the terminal is loose, so I'm just going to take it off. Just going to put it around the terminal, that way we don't have any contact from the battery. And now we're going to go forward and open up the master cylinder on the front, so we don't have any pressure on the pistons when we push them back. To take this cover off, you just need to flip these tabs 90 degrees and they should pop out. That's off. And then your brake master cylinder is going to be right here. So we're just going to open up the lid. It's not filled up, so when we push the pistons back, none of the fluid should come out. So again, I just took off the cap and I'm going to leave it on top so nothing can get in the master cylinder. Alright guys, if you're not familiar with lift points on a W211, they're fairly easy to find. You just gotta go down here and look for this pad right here. This pad right here is the lift point for this vehicle. Should be similar to the front and back, so make sure to just put that right over. Right under the lift pad, and that should be it. I'll show you the rear real quick and it should be similar. So in order to take off the calipers and brake pads first, we're gonna have to punch out these little pins. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. So just get a punch and punch them out. And same goes for the bottom. And the pins should come right off. Okay, so there's the first pin, there's the second pin, and here's the component that holds the brake pads in place. Before we disconnect the brake caliper, we're going to depress the brake pads first, take those out, and then move forward to the caliper. So this machine, pretty simple. However you want to use it, you just got to pump it, and it'll depress the calipers by itself. So you just pump it and it'll slowly start depressing the brake pads back. And then you just release it. And the pistons should be depressed all the way back, so you should be able to take out the brake pads. I just put new brake pads in, so here's one side. And the same goes for the other side. It should be similar as far as taking them out. Just gotta wiggle it. Take out these bolts. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. They're 18 millimeters, so we're just gonna pop them loose. Oops, the extension. So that one's loose, and now we just got to get the top one. Let me just take out this bolt, and it should come right off. And like I said, grab your rope and just thread it through the caliper. So that way, if the bolt comes off and the caliper falls, the rope will hold it. That way you don't break any brake lines. So I just got the last bolt out, and this should come right off. Now on to taking off the disc. You do not have to do anything with this. So there's a little torx bolt here holding the disc. So it is a T30, so like that. Now I'm just going to back it off a little bit because I know this hub is stuck on the, well, this disc is stuck on the hub. So what we're going to do now is put some penetrating oil all around. Oh, I forgot to bring the tub. And now we're just gonna hit it. We're gonna try and shock the disc and just hit it all around evenly, and hopefully it should pop off. So. Just like that.
Pop. Oh.
And like I said, the bolt that's holding the disc, I just backed it out. I didn't take it out all the way. That way it would catch the disc. So we take that out, and off comes the old disc. So what I like to do, it's not rusted too bad. There's a little bit of rust, but while we're here, might as well take out the rust and sand it off.
Alright, most of the rest is clean off. Alright. And again, just put some brake clean. Clean everything off.
Alright, now that everything's clean, what I like to do, in order for it to not stick anymore, is put some anti-seize on it. So, just put anti-seize.
All around. Give it a light coat. All around. Definitely put some on the hub.
And that should be that. So now on to putting on the new disc. And if you're going to put on the new disc, make sure you get new gloves, new clean gloves, because you don't want to put any other type of liquids or contaminants on there. They do come with a special coat, so don't try and clean them off because they look dirty or they have some type of coat on them. Okay guys, so this is the new hub. You can see there's a coating on there. Again, do not clean them. And again, just line everything up.
Should go on like that.
So I'm just going to use my torque wrench. And the units I'm in right now are Newton meters, so I'm just going to go to 25 Newton meters. And that's how tight I'm going to tighten this bolt. So let's see if it'll... Okay, so 25 Newton meters. That should be good enough. I'm not sure if that's the rated torque spec for these, but that's what I'm putting in. I couldn't really find it, so now it's on there. So we just have to put the brake caliper back. 17. So guys, the bolts in the back that hold the caliper, I looked up the specs. All that I found was 115 Newton meters. So again, the torque wrench is on Newton meters, so I'm just going to go to 115. Okay, so that's the rated spec that I found for these caliper bolts. And if you can see, there's some blue micro encapsulated liquid in there. So to put them back, I'm going to put Loctite on them. Okay guys, so like I said, we just finished putting the disc on, so I'm going to put the caliper back on. So just get this. And then just try and align it with the bracket in the back. Okay, so now we're just tightening the bolts. Okay, so that bolt is on snug. So now I'm going to get this other bolt, put Loctite on it. Again, just a little bit of Loctite. That should be enough. And put this bolt back on the bracket. Okay, so they're on snug now, so what I'm going to do is get my torque wrench, and hopefully we'll have enough room to torque these bolts. Okay, so 115. And hopefully we can get to this one too. Here we go. Okay, 118, that was a little over, but pretty close, so we're done with this side. Now on to just putting the brake pads on. So here are the new pads. Again guys, try not to put your fingers in here where the pistons are. You never know, something might go on with the electrical system that it might activate it, so be careful with that. You don't want to get any fingers cut off. And then just stick those back in there. And put the pins back in. So it has these tabs here, so you could just pull on them. You could pull them back. And now I can just feed that pin in. Okay, so there's the pin. And then again, you just want to put the pin through this and then straight across into the other pin. Okay, so that one's there. Now we get the bottom one. So for the bottom one, you do the same, except you're gonna have to push a little harder on this one because there's tension on the top. So push this one down, and it should go right across. Alright, so they're both back in. So is this one? Okay guys, so this is the passenger side disc. As you can see, we have this is where the brake pad wear sensor is. There's a sensor right there. It's fairly simple to disconnect. You just pull it out from this side right here, right there, and that should be it. Gonna disconnect this wire. See? Guys, so before we do this, let's just take out this brake pad wear sensor. You could just pull it out from the brake pad itself. That way we don't damage it. So here's the brake pad wear sensor. Just put it there so we can protect it. Okay guys, so when you're putting the new brake pad wear sensor, it comes apart from the brake pad, but it's fairly simple. It has a hole for you to put it in, and then you can see over here, it's I guess, you know, manufactured so it can fit in there. So you just put the sensor in the hole and then line it up with the thing and then push it down. That's where your brake pad wear sensor is. So